Welcome to today's class. Today we are going to need 2 yoga blocks and a yoga strap. If you don't have blocks or a strap, you can use a scarf or books. Let's prepare by finding a comfortable seat and connecting to our breath. Begin to breathe in and out through your nose, allowing each breath to calm you. We're going to begin this practice on our backs, lying on the floor. This practice will be for our hips, to stretch the lower parts of our body. Begin by lying down with your knees hugging in towards your chest. You can rock side to side, massage your lower back. Relax your shoulders and breathe. Now we will transition into happy baby pose. So open your hips wide, grabbing the outer edges of your feet, pulling your knees down towards the floor. Remember to keep your tailbone grounded and your shoulders away from your ears. Release your left leg, but keep your right leg in happy baby pose. Stretch your left leg forward, placing your hand on top of the hip to hold it down. Feel the deep stretch here through your psoas, through your hips. Breathe here. Now let's re-hug our right knee into the chest. And if you have a yoga strap, you can place it around the ball of your right foot. We're going to stretch the right leg up towards the sky. Or you can place your hands behind your thigh, behind your leg. Perhaps you don't need the strap. Again, soften your shoulders and your mouth. Try to relax your left leg as much as possible. And breathe deeply as you stretch your right hamstring. This is a wonderful way to warm up the back of the legs. Take one more breath here, and then remove your yoga strap as you bend your right knee again. We're going to twist. Lay your right arm on the floor. Take your right thigh across your body, placing your left hand on your outer right thigh. Look towards your right shoulder as you breathe. Notice how your back feels. Let's come back through center and squeeze both knees back into the chest. Maybe you rock a little from side to side. And we're going to begin again in happy baby pose. So open the feet. Good. Maybe the right side feels a little looser now. Then release your right leg. You can set the foot on the floor, or like we did before, straighten the entire leg out and try to relax it while you keep your left leg in happy baby. Keep drawing your left knee down towards the floor. Hug your left knee into your chest again, and then prepare with your yoga strap, putting it around the ball of your left foot as you stretch your left leg up towards the sky. Deep Ujjayi breaths here to support the muscles in the back of the leg. Breathing in and out through your nose. Enjoy the sensation in your hamstring, in your calf. Let's take one more breath here. And then we'll come into the twist on the second side. So lay your left arm on the floor. Cross your body with your left thigh, placing your right hand on the outer left thigh as you cross into the twist. Remember to be kind and patient with your body as you move. Let's come back to center, and we're going to rock ourselves up to a seated position. I'd like you to take your feet and place them as wide as your yoga mat And bring your hands behind you, pointing your fingertips towards your hips. Drop your knees into center. First your right knee, then your left knee. Interchanging as you go. Drop your right knee into center, then your left knee down into center. Back and forth. And do this several times. And then we're going to stretch in butterfly pose. Bring your feet together, knees open. Exhale as you fold or lean forward. Remember to keep your back long, to avoid rounding your back or sticking out your chin. Soften your torso and breathe. We don't have to touch the floor or make this pose deeper than it needs to be. Good, let's lift up. Coming on to our hands and knees now. Place your hands underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips for tabletop pose. As you inhale, draw the chest open in cow pose. As you exhale, curl your back in cat. Inhale to open your chest. Exhale to tuck the tailbone and round. Continue with a few rounds of cat and cow, moving through your spine and seeing how your back feels, whether it's the morning or the evening. Every day is different. From here, we're going to move into downward facing dog. Place your arms forward and lift your hips up and back to stretch in downward facing dog. Remember, in downward facing dog, you can open your fingers wide, spread your toes wide, rotating your triceps away from your ears. And then with your inner thighs, you'd like to rotate those in towards each other. I like to pedal my knees in downward facing dog, so feel free to do that here. Pedaling back and forth a few times. Good, take a breath in downward facing dog. And then from here, we're going to walk forward to the front of the mat into a standing forward fold. Grab onto your elbows and allow your torso to relax and hang loose. You can move side to side. Maybe you have a slight bend in your knees. Just release. Good. The next pose that we're going to do, you might want to use your yoga blocks here. So I'm going to show how you can use them to stretch. If you don't have a block, remember a book. Place your right hand on top of your yoga block, placing that in front of your right foot. Bend your right knee. Straighten your left leg and reach your left arm towards the sky. Pulling your outer left hip back as you open and stretch your chest. Take a breath here. Good, let's switch sides. So place your left hand on the yoga block, bend your left knee. Remember the right leg is straight. Reach your right arm up towards the sky, lengthening the side of your body. Breathe here as you feel that outer leg stretch. Exhale to release the pose, and you can move your yoga blocks to the side. Relax your head. And then slowly roll up through your spine, one vertebra at a time. Reach your arms up to the sky, palms pressed together. Exhale, hands in front of heart center. We're going to begin at the front of the mat in Tadasana, mountain pose. Make sure your feet are hips width apart. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Relax your head. Inhale to lift the chest. Exhale to step your right foot back and place the knee on the floor. If you need to, you can support your knee by placing something underneath it or placing your hands on your yoga blocks. Reach your torso up, arms up towards the sky as you inhale. Drawing the front ribs in, make sure you're comfortable here. I'd like you to grab onto your right wrist with your left hand And do a side bend. Lean to the left and lengthen the right side of your body. Bring your hands back to the floor. Maybe on top of the yoga blocks for the next pose, we're going to step the right foot forward into pyramid pose. Both legs are straight. Line up your heels and fold over your left thigh. Relax your head. Depending on your flexibility, maybe your fingertips are on the floor. Keeping both heels grounded. Breathe here. Lift your chest up as you look forward. Now we're going to come into triangle pose. Turn your right heel in, your right toes out. If you're using a yoga block, place it to the inside of your left leg. Reach your right arm up to the sky, straightening both legs, pulling your chest back, your outer left hip back, and your right hip slightly forward. If your neck is uncomfortable, you can always look down at the floor. Breathe here. Konasana. As you exhale, release your right arm and bring your hands back down to the floor. We're going to step into downward facing dog. From downward facing dog pose, we're going to shift forward into high plank, bringing your shoulders over the wrists. Exhale as you lower to the floor. On your inhale, roll your shoulder heads back, elbows in. Press your fingertips down into cobra pose as you inhale. Exhale from cobra pose back into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Breathe here. Great, now let's step the right foot between the hands, the left knee on the floor. And we're going to come into an easy twist. Reach your right arm up towards the sky. If you lowered your left knee, lift it back up if you'd like a little bit of a challenge. Keeping the left shoulder head back, lift the top of your left hip as you twist. Exhale to lower your right hand and your left knee back to the floor. We're going to transition into lizard lunge. So move your right foot over to the right. Bring both hands to the inside of that right foot. You can lower your forearms to your block or to the floor. Check to make sure that your right heel points towards the groin and the right toes out diagonally. Keep your chest open as you look forward. And you have the option to deepen the stretch a little bit if you'd like to place your right hand against the inner right thigh and push outwards. So you use the outer edge of your right foot and lift the sole of the foot a bit. That's up to you. Now we're going to come back to center. And I'd like you to step back to the front of your mat. Left foot forward. Bend your knees into chair pose. Arms reach up. Breathe here. As you exhale, straighten your legs, and we're in mountain pose again at the front of the mat, Tadasana. We're going to do a little bit of hip opening with some balance work. So if you need to stand by a wall, that's fine. Let's cross our right ankle over the left thigh. Here, you want to send your hips backwards, bending your left knee as you bring your hands together in front of your heart space. And depending on where you're at in your yoga practice, you could place your hands upon your yoga blocks or on the floor. Remember to keep your left knee bent, your hips moving back, and your chest open and broad. Feel that stretch in the outside of the right hip. Great work. Slowly come out of the pose and shake out your hips, putting both feet on the floor. Yeah, move one hip to the side. It's nice to kind of settle the feet and the hips after that pose. We're gonna try it again on the second side, so don't worry. Coming back to the front of your mat, reach your arms up towards the sky, inhale. Exhale, forward fold, relax your head. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen the spine. Exhale, left foot back, bringing the knee to the floor for low lunge Anjaneyasana. Inhale to lift your torso and your arms up towards the sky. Remember our side bend here. What we're going to do is grab onto the left wrist with the right hand. Exhale, side bend to the right, lengthening the left side of your body. Breathe here. Inhale back to center. And then exhale, let's prepare for pyramid pose. Lift your left knee up off the floor. Step that foot forward a bit so you can lower the heel. Line up your heels, straighten both legs. Fold as you exhale over that right thigh, keeping your big toes and your heels on the floor. And if you used your yoga blocks here, feel free to use them again, placing your hands on top. Breathe deeply. And it's a big stretch. Good. Now we're going to transition into triangle. So turn your left heel in, your left toes out. We want to line up the right heel with the arch of the back foot, reaching your left arm up towards the sky. Open your chest. Good. Chest moves back as your outer right hip moves back. The outer left hip gently rolls forward. Both legs are straight. Enjoy the pose. Good, let's release slowly. And from here, we're going to step into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. From downward facing dog pose, inhale to high plank. Exhale, lower to the floor. Press the tops of the feet into the floor, lift the chest into cobra, elbows slightly bent. Exhale, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. This time, step your left foot forward, bringing your right knee down if you need that assistance. We're going to come into our easy twist, so reaching the left arm up towards the sky. And if you want to keep your right knee elevated, give yourself a little bit of a challenge, that's fine too. Move your right shoulder head back, keeping that right hip elevated. Breathe here. Exhale to lower. Now for lizard lunge, so bringing your hands to the inside of your left foot. I always kind of wiggle my left foot to the left, lining up the heel, turning the toes out. Remember to keep your chest broad. So if you lower to the floor, keep looking forward. Keep moving your shoulders back. Maybe you use your left hand to press that left hip outwards a little bit. See how you feel. It's a deep stretch for our hips. Remember to have patience, to keep the breath long and even. Good, we're going to slowly move out of the pose. Move your left foot in between the hands again. And let's step the right foot to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold over your thighs. Relax your head. Bend your knees, chair pose. Inhale, arms reach. And then exhale, coming back to Samasthiti. Legs straight, hands to heart center. Good. Let's move into the second side. A little bit of a balancing pose. So we're going to cross the left ankle over the right thigh like we did before. This is a figure 4 position. Remember, bend your right knee, move your hips behind you. Make sure that you have space here, that you can still see your right big toe, that your knee doesn't pass it. And perhaps you bring the hands to your yoga blocks or the floor. You decide. Good, take a deep breath here. And then we'll slowly release the pose and you can shake it out again. I always find it helpful, like I said, to move the hips, to rotate them, to kind of step side to side. This time, leave your right foot at the front of your mat. Step your left foot back for Warrior Two, Virabhadrasana B. Spread your arms wide, bending your right knee over the right heel. Gaze over your right fingertips and breathe here. As you exhale, take your right hand to the top of your right thigh. Sweep your left arm forward and down over the left ear, so you're in side angle pose, Parsva Konasana. Stretch the entire left side of your body. As you inhale, move briefly back into Warrior Two. And then we're going to turn to the side of our mat, the long side of our mat. Turn your heels in, toes out, open the knees, bend your knees into Goddess pose. Keep your arms raised up towards the ceiling. We're going to add another side bend here in Goddess pose. So keep your legs strong, your hips back. Place again your right elbow on top of your right thigh and lean to the right. Lengthen the left side of your body. As you inhale, move through Goddess pose. Keep the knees bent. And then exhale, you can straighten the legs. Let's switch. We're going to turn the left toes out. Bend the left knee for Warrior Two. So we just did a 180 on the yoga mat. Look over your left fingertips, lining up your left heel with your back arch. Good. Feel the energy of Warrior pose. As we exhale, let's take the left elbow on top of the left thigh, side angle. Reach your right arm over your right ear. So it's really long, not straight up towards the sky, but stay in line from your left fingertips all the way down to your left foot. Beautiful. From side angle pose, we're going to transition back through Warrior Two briefly, and then turn to the long side of your mat, Goddess pose. Bend your knees, hips back, lower ribs in, energy through our legs. As you exhale, side bend again, left elbow over the thigh, reaching the right arm long. Deep breaths here. Good, the whole right side of your body stretching. We're going to move back through Goddess pose, and then to transition, we're still facing the long side of our mat. Let's parallel the feet. So turn the big toes in a little bit. Bring your hands, interlace the fingers behind your back. Legs are going to be straight here. As you exhale, fold into Prasarita Padottanasana, reaching the arms away from the back as you come into a wide-legged forward fold. Deep stretches here. Take a deep breath. It's a lot of sensation through the shoulders and the chest as well. Good, let's release our hands towards the floor. Inhale, halfway lift. And then make your way back to downward facing dog. Feet step back. Breathe here. From downward dog, high plank pose. Exhale, lower to the floor. This time, we're going to lift into a low cobra. Open the heart, keep the elbows slightly bent. And then as you exhale, we'll lower back to the floor. This time, bring your legs together. Point your toes. Interlace the fingers behind your back. Reach your hands away from your chest and inhale to lift into locust pose. Lift the chest, your feet, your hands away from your glutes. Everything engaged. Opening the front of the body. As you exhale, slowly release and move into a child's pose. Hips towards the heels, forehead towards the floor. Relax and soften. Coming back to your breath. Now let's take a seat, and we're gonna face the long side of our mat again. I'd like you to take the legs, stretch them out, and flex through your feet. If you need something to sit on here, you can use a cushion or a little pillow. This is the point where we're gonna come back to our yoga strap, so let's have that nearby. Fold forward into vishta konasana, wide-legged forward fold. Keeping activity through your legs, you wanna keep them engaged as you lean forward. And remember, if this is a challenge for your hips, I recommend sitting on something to support your pelvis, and do your best to keep an internal rotation of your feet, just slightly. Okay, let's prepare for our side stretching. We're doing lots of side bending today. We've prepared for this pose. So let's keep the right leg straight, putting the strap around the right leg. We're gonna bend the left knee and bring it in. Take your right hand to your left ankle. We're crossing the arms. Right arm, to the left ankle, left hand to the yoga strap. As you lean to the right, pull on the yoga strap. Good, keeping that left arm nice and long. Maybe you can walk the hand down the yoga strap. Push your left knee away from you to get longer on the left side as you fold over your right leg. Relax your head. And this is a pretty big side bend. If this is something that you want to come back to later and try it again, that's fine. We're going to switch sides, shake it out. This time, place your yoga strap on your left foot and bend your right knee so it's close. Remember, here we cross the arms. So take your left hand underneath your right arm towards your right ankle. Right hand grabs the yoga strap. Exhale, lean over the left leg. Walk your right arm down the yoga strap, keeping your right knee pressing away from your side body. So you open up the ribs. It's a deep stretch. Take a breath here. Again, if this is one of those poses that you want to come back to or push pause, that's fine. We're going to release, shake out the legs. You can remove your strap. Nice work. Let's come down to the floor. We're going to come back to lying on our backs. Good. Next pose, we're going to bring both feet to the mats, width apart. Spread them wide and bring your hands behind you. You're going to lift up your glute muscles as you exhale in reverse tabletop pose. So this is a big chest opener. Take 3 breaths in reverse tabletop. And then after, we're going to fold over our thighs, bending the knees, folding into a pretty easy forward fold. If you would like to deepen your forward fold and move into Paschimottanasana, you can straighten your legs and fold over the thighs. Remember, you want to try to keep your abdomen connected to your thigh muscles here, rather than just touch your toes with the spine rounded. Good. Take a deep breath here. Good. And now we will lay down on our backs. We had that reverse tabletop pose to do. But now we'll come all the way down on the floor. Good. Relax your body. And we're going to pull the right knee into the chest again. Circle your right ankle a few times just to release any tension in the foot. And come back to figure 4 cross. Right ankle over your left thigh. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Release your shoulders as you stretch the hip. Notice how your body's feeling now towards the end of the practice. We really worked on our hips, our hamstrings, the side body. Lots of areas in the body that can hold tension. Let's place the left foot on the floor. Keep your right ankle exactly where it is, and you're going to twist. Placing the legs over to the left, the right foot will land on the floor. And with your left hand, you can push your right thigh away from you gently. Look over your right shoulder as you breathe. Let's slowly come back through center. Good. Then release both legs. What we'll do is we'll move into the second side. So circle your left ankle like we did. Again, just releasing tension in the foot. And then we're going to cross the left ankle over the right thigh into figure 4. Hug your knees towards your chest. You can place kind of that left hand in between the legs there, and the hands meet maybe on the right shin or behind your right knee. Relax your shoulders here. Soften your shoulders, your jaw. Breathe deeply. Good, and then we're going to release by just placing the right foot on the floor. Remember to keep your left foot exactly where it is. Let your legs fall over to the right side, placing that left foot directly on the floor. You can twist, look towards your left shoulder, lay your left arm on the floor, and maybe you use your right hand to gently press your left thigh away from you, keeping the left big toe grounded. Enjoy the spinal twist and come back to mindful breathing. Good, we'll move through center, hug your knees in towards your chest. Curl yourself into a little ball, bringing your forehead towards your knees, grabbing onto your heels, deepening the lumbar spine stretch. As you exhale, release back to the floor, back to your yoga mat. And today for our final resting pose, I'm going to use my 2 yoga blocks to support myself in butterfly pose or supta baddha konasana. You can place your blocks or maybe cushions or pillows underneath your knees, your thighs, as you open the knees towards the floor, keeping the soles of the feet together. Hands can rest on your abdomen. This was about a 30-minute practice today, so if you want to spend more time in Shavasana, that's fine. Take all the time that you need to release any tension in your body, to let go of anything that you're holding on to, whether that's mentally, emotions. With every exhale, just letting go. And as you inhale, feeling nourished, feeling healed by every in-breath. As you continue to lay here on the floor, allow your body to just be heavy and still. Remember, you can stay here as long as you'd like. I appreciate you for practicing with me today. I hope your hips and your side body feel wonderful. I press my hands together in gratitude. Namaste.